All right, I am going to go ahead and record. And if people jump on, they jump on. Um, Reminder, chat me up on the side if you have questions as we go. I love to make this interactive and kind of answer all of your questions. And thank you for those of you who sent questions in advance. I got some good ones. All right, so week 5, and it's already Tuesday night of week 5. So we already are like low carb day done. It's just moving right along. We'll get carbs back tomorrow. Woohoo. So my passion, vision, and goal for this program and kind of becoming a coach and having you guys be a part of my team is just so that you can learn to have the same energy and health that I have found in your life. And so I'm so proud of you for committing to this program and sticking with it. I mean, prep week plus into week 5. So we're now almost 6 weeks together. And I know everybody's lives are so busy. There's always so much to do, things to be done, and it's easy not to prioritize your health. But prioritizing your health is a commitment. Just like you have to prioritize relationships in your life with your family, your friends, yourself, your job, all of those things you have to prioritize. You also have to prioritize your health. It's a choice you have to make every day. And so I am so proud of each and every one of you for doing that and sticking with it. And just the passion that you're bringing and the positive attitude is so encouraging. And I just love it. So keep it up. And again, just want to say that I'm so proud of each of you. Couple of quick housekeeping items. The next round I am starting April 8th, which will be next week. So it is overlapping prep week with the last week here, week 6. And I'm just doing that to see if that goes a little bit smoother. I think it's a lot for new people to have returning clients in there on prep week. So I'm overlapping it by 1 week. Again, I obviously think this is the best program and lifestyle out there. It gives you the tools you need for life. If you feel the same way, please spread it with your friends and family. My MO is not social media and marketing. So I'm hoping that my coaching business will grow via word of mouth. I know I've mentioned it before. We are not a multi-level marketing company, but I do commission back a generous portion of their entry, their registration fee if you refer somebody. So I will commission you back $50. I'm happy to do it as a one-off on the side, but if you think that you really want to kind of, I don't know, spread the word and make some money, I can even send you your own link that would just automatically commission you through the Faster Way to Fat Loss. That would direct them to me, but I would know it obviously came through you. So if you are interested in becoming an official affiliate, let me know, and I can get you that link. Otherwise, I know there are some people that are interested in round 2. I know I mentioned it before. And actually 2 people emailed me back with questions saying, send me the link. We do have new links. So I will get that out in the comments following this video as well about how to register for round 2. Again, it's the $140 rate, not the $199 for the original. So those are kind of my quick little housekeeping program things I wanted to get out of the way. All right, so returning clients, no. New clients might not unless you really did a deep dive in the comprehensive portal. But this program does offer an optional 24-hour fast. And I know a lot of people are like, heck no, right away. I didn't sign up for that and that interests me like none. So no, it's optional. Don't worry about it. There's no need to do it. But there are some people that love intermittent fasting, love the science behind it, and want to push themselves in that regard, and maybe want to try a 24-hour fast. And so why not do it in a group setting with a coach? I'm happy to do it with anybody and kind of text you all day who wants to take part in the 24-hour fast. It is set up to take place on Thursday this week if you want to do it. Basically, just to give you the high level on how it would work, if you're interested, is your timer starts when you eat dinner the night before. My recommendation is you eat dinner at like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at the latest and start that clock. So that when you wake up in the morning, you're already well into 12 plus hours of the fast. And then you just hydrate all day, same rules as intermittent fasting, black coffee, teas, water, lemon water, hydrate, stay busy, stay out of the kitchen. And when you hit that 24-hour mark, 5, 6 p.m. the next day, then you just kind of eat a normal meal and carry on with your life. Fasting for 24 hours has many of the same benefits that intermittent fasting has: maintaining your skeletal muscle mass, decreasing your blood glucose levels, decreasing your insulin levels, increasing your insulin sensitivity, reducing your inflammation, cell repair, cell healing. So it's just kind of more of the same, which is why it's optional. No need to do it. This is only for those people that are really into this kind of thing and want to push themselves and want to do it with motivation and a coach. So let me know. It was not something that a ton of people jumped up and down and were like, me, at the last round, which is what I expected. But like I said, if anybody wants to do it, I will do it with you and motivate you throughout that 24 hours. So throwing it out there. The other topic I wanted to talk on is adjusting macros. Okay, so it is not a matter of if, but a matter of when you will need to adjust your macros, okay? And so I'll get to that in a second. But let's talk about your current macros. If they are working, there is no need to adjust them. So it's a whole mentality of if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. So really, if they're working, don't do anything. Just keep this advice in mind for when you do need to switch in the future. Okay. But before you jump into switching, and I know I've said all this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's important. You need to take a look at how you've been living the past couple of weeks before switching. Okay. So ask yourself, have you been consistent with your current macros? And consistent doesn't mean Sunday night to Friday morning off on the weekends. Consistent means pretty much for the most part, you're hitting them pretty close 7 days a week. Are you getting enough sleep? Are your stress levels in check? Have you been overtraining? Are you dehydrated? Are you truly eating whole foods, or are you still focusing on processed foods? Because if any of the above are not in line, you can't really blame your macros for being the reason why you're not getting the results you want, okay? So go back, go over that checklist before changing your macros and see if there's anything in your lifestyle or nutrition that you need to change first, okay? Because adjusting macros is not a game you want to mess with. Your macros really are there to get you the results you want to get. So if you're not being consistent with them, or if you're asking too much of your body in other areas of your life, whether that be undersleeping, overtraining, overstressed, those are all the reasons you might not be getting the results you want. So don't jump to adjusting macros as the answer. Jump to really focusing on how you can get that your lifestyle that you want so that your body is running optimally. And then we adjust macros once everything is in check. Okay. So 2 ways to adjust macros once you're ready. Please do not adjust your macros down. I know it's so tempting to want to adjust your macros down, but I really would rather see you just tighten it up on everything that I talked about and have more patience. Don't be tempted to say, I want to adjust down because I want to see more results. Long-term restriction of your calories is a losing game and not one you want to play. Because think about it. If you are under eating by so much and your body, your metabolism eventually adapts to that and you hit a plateau, well, if you cut your calories again, the same thing will happen in a couple weeks. And then if you cut them again, pretty soon your metabolic rate is super low and your calories that you're eating are so low, you can't go any further down. That is an unhealthy way to live, and it can be incredibly frustrating. So I really don't want you to give into the temptation, if you want to see more results or you think it's not working fast enough, to ever adjust your macros down. Okay, I think everybody had some realistic macros in order to lose weight or maintain, and they should be good. The only reason you would adjust your macros down is if you answered yes to everything that I talked about living a healthy lifestyle, and you're still gaining weight. But I follow up with me if that's the case, but I don't think that's the case for anybody. So don't give in to the temptation to adjust down. If anything, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adjusting up. This is because all the carb cycling, all the lifting, that is getting our metabolism going. And as our metabolism revs up and ramps up, we need to be eating more to meet the demand of that increased metabolism. So if you're starting to be famished before you break your fast, or if you're hungry before you go to bed, or if you're really not seeing the body composition changes you want, then adjust your macros up. You need more fuel to keep it going. All right. So we got to keep that metabolism up and going and to avoid hitting a plateau. So again, do not be tempted to cut calories or exercise more. I know it's hard mentally, but we want to be adding. So add 5% across the board. So that means about about 75 to 100 calories that's going to be allocated down into your macro mix. So you can go into MyFitnessPal, go into your calorie goals and up it by, start at 75 extra calories if you want, and see what that does for you. So that's one way to do it on the 5%. But when you add that in, if your carb number is getting super high and you find like it's just too many carbs for you to eat, you then can adjust your macro mix. Instead of the 50, 30, 20, 50 carbs, 30 fat, 20 protein, then maybe you want to try the 45 carbs, 30 fat, 25 protein, such that your carbs kind of remain the same and that 5% bump went to fat and protein. So that's kind of the way I want you to look about adjusting your macros. Same thing if you are just hitting maintenance. Let's say you've lost the weight you want to lose, and now you're adjusting macros, not because you've hit a plateau, but because you're ready to eat more and you're starting to transition out of that weight loss phase and into a maintenance phase. In addition to what I talked about, the 5% and the 45, 30, 25 split, you also can take your low macro days and make them regular macro days. There is no need to continue doing low macro days for the rest of your life. That is a weight loss strategy, so you can cut that out as well. I still would recommend only upping it 5% at a time, even if you went all the way from weight loss to maintenance. Yes, you can eat more than 75 calories, but I would increase it 75 or 100 calories every 2 weeks. And the reason for that is we want our metabolism to stay where it is and revved up. We don't want to be giving it high spikes in your body to think like another yo-yo diet is coming or something like that. You still want to slowly increase to keep your metabolism up and running at the level it is and adjusting to the new food intake you're having. So that is how you're going to adjust your macros when you're hitting a plateau or when you are transitioning from weight loss to maintenance level. And I want to go over all that. This video will be saved. You can come back to it because it is not a matter of if you should adjust your macros. It's a matter of when you should adjust your macros. And not everybody needs to be changing them tomorrow. But when you feel it's time, when you've hit that plateau or you've hit your maintenance, your weight loss levels, then you want to look at adjusting your macros. Okay. So that's very important. So then my only motivation point that I wanted to go over is remember that we are laying the foundation and framework correctly here for a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating. We are not looking for a quick fix to quickly take the weight off to only quickly put it back on. So we're taking our time here and we're really learning to change patterns, behaviors, and lifestyle. And that takes time. We're not just adding something in. We're really changing at the foundation of what we do and how we view nutrition and our aligned workouts and really our lifestyle. I can be as motivating as possible to you, but all the motivation in the world is not going to, really ensure that you have a long-term win. You have to find that internally and cement it and want it and believe in it. I know a lot of people are just tell me what to do. And that's what, to some extent this program starts with. Just tell me what to do. I'm telling you what to do. But I don't want to be telling you what to do such that this is the quick fix. I want this to be the forever way for you. I truly, truly do. I want you to take the time to adopt and retain everything that you're learning and figure out what works for you. Because my number one goal is, I have returning clients here that are going to be, sent off onto their own following this round, and some new clients who, some of you I know are doing round 2, but if others aren't, as you go on, my number one goal for you is that you're not going to be looking for the next trainer to hire, the next diet to try, the next fad to do. I want you to truly have all of these tools in your toolbox such that you can have a new lifestyle that is healthy and gives you the energy you need to fulfill your purpose. And should you ever like fall off the lifestyle a little bit, you can utilize those tools to bring you back onto the lifestyle. It's a lot of hard work. I get it. Focusing on yourself, focusing, just making sure somebody couldn't get on. Focusing on yourself. I get it. Sometimes we don't prioritize that, but it is important. It truly is important. And so I'm so proud of you for doing all of that. But I really want you to understand that having that bulletproof mindset, being full of drive and passionate about it, and having self-love, that is what it takes to have your goals come together. Having that right mindset and the self-love for allowing yourself to go for it. That will help you reach your goals. So I know I've said it a lot, but it is a lot of work here. So I'm very proud of everybody for putting it in. All right, so I got some good questions. So I'm going to jump right into some of the questions, and if there are others, please hit it up in the chat. All right, so how do I know what my optional weight should be? I started at this number thinking it was a good weight. I'm not really trying to lose, but focusing on the nutrition. I like the intermittent fasting, but finding it hard to get the calories in within the time span because I'm not that hungry, and therefore I've been dropping weight. Is that because my lower number is optional, or should I be cramming down the food? I'm confused. Okay, great question. So I personally, and I know in this program, do not believe that a number on the scale should dictate whether or not you're at the right weight, because everybody has a different amount of muscle and a different build. And so it's not a number on the scale. It is how you feel. So if you've been losing weight on this program and didn't necessarily want to, how do you feel? Do you feel better? Do you feel more energized? Do you feel full of life? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel go, go, go? Or are you famished by the time before you break you fast? Are you cranky? Are you irritable? Are you having trouble sleeping? Those are all signs that yes, you're not losing weight in a healthy manner, or your body weight is just getting too low. You don't want to be doing any of that. So then your goal is the opposite of somebody who's working hard to have a calorie deficit. You need a calorie surplus to put pounds back on. And if it is too hard for you to be getting all your food in your intermittent fasting window, my first tip would be take what you need to eat and divide it up into the amount of times you eat per day. So for example, if you need to have 100 grams of protein and you're eating 2 meals and 1 snack a day, well, then I would make sure you're getting 40 grams of protein at each meal and 20 at your snack to ensure you hit that 100 grams. Because if you're not getting enough in your first meal and barely any in your snack, I don't know about you, I love protein, but I don't know if I could go eat like a full pound of like fish at dinner to hit my protein goal, nor would I want to live my life that way every day. So my first advice would be get your calories in and be more strategic about it by hitting it harder when you break your fast. Secondly, I know you said you love intermittent fasting, hopefully for similar reasons that I do, the energy it gives you, the clarity, the focus, the time, the convenience. There's so much about it that I love. But maybe 16-8 is too restrictive for you if you need to get more food in. So maybe you want to try a 14-10. Is that right? 14-10. And just open your window up a little bit, or 15-9 to be able to get all of the calories in that you need. Because yes, I don't have that problem where I need to work to put weight on. I have to work the other way and do a calorie deficit when trying to lose, but that you might have that same problem where you now need the opposite. You need to do a calorie surplus. So that is work, just like a calorie deficit is work. But again, I can't answer whether or not you need to be doing that or what your optimal weight is. Only you can answer that, but I don't think a scale can tell you that. I mean, I honestly don't weigh myself. every time I weigh myself, I get upset. It's like, why should a number on the scale determine how I feel? I should determine how I feel. So I really do try to avoid the scale because it doesn't bring me anything good. So I would just say, before getting on the scale in the morning and letting a number determine how you feel, why don't you just try not going on the scale for a week and see how you truly feel? And then answer that question of, what do I want to be? Because those are your goals. A number shouldn't be your goal. It should be, is it a muscle goal? Is it, a being able to lift a certain weight goal? Is it an energy goal? Like, they should be non-scale goals. So think about what they are and then align your eating with that. So that probably isn't like, yes, you want to be this number, but that's just not the case. It really is how you feel about yourself. And so if you don't know the answer, then try not weighing yourself for a little bit and really paying attention to your body and seeing if your body tells you the answer. All right, next question was, where do I go to find the science or explanation on the Monday, Tuesday low carb day versus the other day macros? I understand what to do, but not sure why I'm doing it. Great question. I mean, you're all like jumping in and just, following the process but you're like, wait, why am I doing this? So on the low carb days, we are depleting all of the carbs or glycogen in our body, and such that our body is learning to use fat for fuel. And then when we do the regular macro days, our body is busy replenishing those carb stores. This helps lose weight, because if you're eating in a slight deficit, or even if maintaining weight, it will help in maintenance, because your body is so focused on depleting the carb stores and rebuilding the carb stores that there's very little excess that would be able to add fat. So it really will help you lose weight if you're eating in a calorie deficit, or maintain weight if you're eating in maintenance, okay? But let's look at just like 5 things aside. That was the science of it. But 5 reasons why. Okay, number 1, it will boost your weight loss while preserving muscle mass. So that's important for those clients who are looking to lose weight, that we're not losing muscle at the same time, that we truly are losing fat. And so by depleting our glycogen stores, we're forcing our body to use fat for fuel. And then that will encourage fat loss instead of muscle loss, which is very important. Second, it prevents a dip in your metabolic rate. Again, this is another one that's probably more important too for people looking to lose weight. We don't want our metabolism, so like how many calories a day your body can even just burn if you were to stay in bed, your basal metabolic rate. We do not want that rate dropping. This program is backed by science to keep your metabolism running. And so by doing the carb cycling, we're kind of keeping our body guessing a little bit on, and not, it's not like, oh, this again. And so it keeps the metabolism going so that it doesn't adapt to your new lower eating levels when eating in a calorie deficit. 3, it can help with your energy levels. Pay attention to how you feel tomorrow morning before you break your fast, because you probably have fully depleted your glycogen stores and your body should be relying on fat for fuel instead of carbs for fuel. And see if you notice a difference in your energy level tomorrow morning versus, say, like Friday morning or Saturday morning after you've had carbs for a couple of days before you break your fast. And just pay attention to your body and see if you feel a difference. I have been doing this for a while now. I completely feel a difference. I probably feel amazing right now. I'll feel amazing tomorrow morning, because my body is now that I've been doing it for so long, and it takes a while for your body to be an efficient fat burner. But because my body is efficient at it now and it knows how to burn fat for energy, I feel great when I burn fat for energy. So I love it for the energy feeling as well. So that's one that's not in the weight loss category. That's in the energy category. And I definitely challenge everybody, just see how you feel tomorrow morning fasted versus Friday morning or Saturday morning fasted, and see if you notice a difference. I do. Okay, so number 4 kind of ties into that. We're learning how to burn fat for fuel. This is helpful because if your body knows how to do that, that will prevent you from ever having like extreme hunger or fatigue. It can help with endurance. So if you're ever out and about and like forget food somewhere, some people get so, you know, hangry because their body needs the carbs. Your body will know how to burn fat for fuel. So you can kind of, you'll know what to do and you'll be okay. You will eliminate kind of the extreme hunger that you might feel from time to time when you're without food, when you really need it. And that can just be a helpful tool to have that may or may not be important to you, but it's kind of a fact of carb cycling. And then lastly, it just helps add a variety of foods. It gives you more flexibility in your eating. It kind of forces you to eat more vegetables since a lot of the starches are off limits. I don't know about you, but I had like a huge salad for lunch. I snacked on some baby carrots and peppers. I had spaghetti, squash, and arugula with my dinner because you don't want to just be eating straight up fat and protein all day. So the only category left is vegetables. So it kind of encourages you to be adding in your greens. And then there are some fatty meals I just like to eat. I like the peanut butter and things of that nature too. So I can add that in those days. So those are kind of the 5 reasons for carb cycling. Again, you can determine if that's something that you're going to cement as a lifestyle change, you know, pattern foundation for you following this program. Or if you look at those 5 things and you're like, you know what, I'm in maintenance. I like the intermittent fasting. That's a, you know, a lifestyle change I'm taking away from this, but carb cycling is not something I'm taking away. That's completely fine. For me, I love carb cycling, especially because it resets my week every week. I just feel if I overindulge a little on the weekend or things of that nature, carb cycling is my reset button for every Monday, Tuesday that gets me in line, makes sure I'm on the wagon, and just keeps me going. So for me, mentally, for the energy, for having my body continue to be able to burn fat for fuel, and for keeping my metabolic rate going, it is just, even though I'm in maintenance, it's something that I continue to do as a lifestyle. So I think it's great that you're questioning it. I think it's great that you want to understand, again, why do we do this? And pay attention to your body. See if this is for you and a win you're going to continue to following the program. But I'm glad to hear that intermittent fasting, you're saying, is a win and you love that. So that's great too. Okay. Next question. Once the program's over and there aren't suggested lifting exercises, where do I go to find exercises? I was thinking about printing them at home, but I'll get tired of them. Yes. Okay, great. Yes, print out all the downloads, the PDFs I've been posting to the site. You can also go on and print out the advanced workouts too, so you would have the next level. And I know you're somebody who said you were going to be a returning client too. The workouts are slightly different, but only slightly. So that would give you another set of 6-week workouts ×2, the home ones and the advanced. Print them all out. Okay, so then when you get tired of them, what do you do next? There is the VIP program that has new workouts in it. It's $100 a month, and I personally do not and have never been a part of it because I don't need to pay $100 a month for my workouts. I know I should probably be like promoting it. Yes, join VIP, but I just think that's kind of pricey. And they do have mentors come in like every week or month, and so there's ongoing education you get as well. But I personally use the Sweat app. It's $20 a month or like $10 if you commit to the year. And there are 7 different trainers in there and different programs in there. I follow the Power program on week 36 of it. I really do love it. It's a progressive program. That's something I like about it too. Just like how the Faster Way workouts are progressive over the 6 weeks. They get a little bit harder because the Sweat app is an app with trainers that have a week, like weekly, monthly programs. They are progressive as well. So there's all different ones in there. I do think the Power one aligns well with the Faster Way philosophy, and it's a match for me. It does require the gym for the 3 workouts a week. You probably could do 1 or 2 at home. You probably could do all 3 if you got a little bit more of equipment and were comfortable doing modifications. But definitely something I can talk to you more about offline. I know I have one person that I'm going to transition to the Sweat app, and my sisters have tried it too. I'm a big fan of it. I know you can Pinterest and YouTube workouts, but I haven't done that. only because I feel like they'd be more one-off. You really do want a progressive plan. So I think the Sweat app is a great place to start to find a progressive lifting plan following this program. And I'm happy to talk offline about that because I'm just such a huge fan of it. All right. Another question that we got was Saturday treat. Is it okay if the treat has dairy or gluten? In your experience, by having a treat with dairy, for instance, will I do all of the work I put into the program over the past 5 weeks? You mentioned at the beginning of the program that later we can talk about reintroducing some dairy or gluten. So I don't want to mess that up. I'm wondering when this could be a consideration. Perfect. Okay. You probably would know if you had an intolerance or sensitivity already, just based on your past life. So chances are, especially on gluten, that you don't have a sensitivity to it, but you could have something mild. So for example, this does not, I'm happy to have gluten or dairy as my treat on the weekend, but I will say I notice increased bloating and increased gas when I have gluten. And it's something I notice, but do I really think about that when I make my choice? I'm more or less, this is the treat I want for the weekend. I like to have beer. That's a lot gluten. That's usually the treat that I go for. And yes, I will notice a little bit of, the bloating from it, but it usually is just like the next day I might be like, or feel a little sluggish. And then I have that low carb day on Monday and it resets me and I'm fine. So for me, it was an educated decision that I made to have that because that is something I enjoy and something I want to have. And I know I have that, I might just have, my stomach might just feel a little bit bloated the next day from it. And that's how my body reacts to it. So now that you've cut it out for 5 weeks, it is the perfect opportunity for you to reintroduce it in on the weekends or following the program and just look for patterns in how your body reacts because everybody has individuality and is going to react differently. So it will depend on how much of a sensitivity or intolerance you have. You may not notice nothing, or you may notice, bloating and gas as well, or maybe you even have stomach discomfort. I'm not sure where you're going to fall on that spectrum. So the only thing I can say to do is when you do introduce it, really try to pay attention to your body and see if you notice any patterns when you have dairy or patterns when you have gluten, and just pay attention to that. And then you'll be able to make an educated decision on when you want to have the dairy or the gluten. And sometimes it takes time. Dairy, I think, has helped clear out my skin, but that doesn't mean if I have one piece of cheese, I'm going to break out the next morning. Some things are just harder to draw a correlation to. So it's something that you'll just have to figure out as you go. But no, I don't think having like one thing of gluten and one thing of dairy, it is not going to undo all the work you did. And unless you determine and you learn that you're highly sensitive to it and you fall on that end of the spectrum, but you won't know until you try. So I encourage you to try. That's why we have these treat days. That's the program's meant to do that. You're meant to try the dairy and the gluten. So go for it. But just note how you feel so you know for next time. All right. At what point should we look at my target calorie macro bracket? I don't have a hard time hitting my low macro days. I'm not hungry. On the other days, I struggle to hit my calorie range. I'm afraid to adjust my macro level so that my low macro days would go lower. Okay. Yes, low macro days should never go lower than, low macro days in general should never go lower than 1,200. I really wouldn't want to see that for anybody. Always try to hit 1,200 calories a day or more. If you are struggling to hit your regular macros calories, I don't want to adjust them down. Just eat until you're full every day, unless you told me you're gaining weight. If you're gaining weight and you looked at everything else I talked about, the sleep, the hydration, the stress, and you feel everything somewhat in line and you're gaining weight, then let's talk online because maybe they have to go down, but I really don't think they should based on the amount of exercise that you're doing and the healthy food you're eating. I really want to see your metabolism up and running. So I don't want to give into the temptation to cut because then you might have metabolic adaptation and your metabolism will lower. And that's not our goal. Our goal is to get our metabolism up and running. So if you're struggling to hit it, look at my tips I told the other question. Try to add more in during your opening meal and your snacks so you're not trying to cram everything in at the end of the night. That would be my first tip to try to get it in. But really, it's a balance. Everybody's different. So what I want you to do is say, How are you hitting your goals? Or do you think are you feeling better? Or do you think you're losing inches? Do you think you're losing weight? Are you liking how your body is responding to what it's doing? If you're liking how it's responding, then keep doing what you're doing, and eating until full and trying to hit that calorie level. Because at the end of the day, as we add more muscle, your metabolism is going to get faster and we want to be eating even more. And so don't fall into the temptation to cut. But I answer the question of how does your body feel? How is it responding to everything that you're doing? And if it's working, then it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's not working, figure out where it's broke and fix it. So it's either broke in the other aspects of your life, the sleeping, the water, things of that nature. It's broke because you're gaining weight. So figure out where it's broke and then let's work to fix it. So we can follow off online, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's broken, let me help you strategize with you where it's broken, and then we'll figure out what that means the answer is. But I really don't want to see anybody cutting their macros lower than they already are. I'm kind of happy with where your macros are. If anything, we're going to get them up through time. All right, so I think I have like one question left and then we're done in a minute and I'm going to run. So how long does it take to see results? I know I have a few pounds, I've lost a few, but will I see a more noticeable transformation in 10, 20 weeks, etc.? I would really say give it a good 8 to 12 weeks. I know you're like, it takes a few weeks to feel better, but it's going to take a good 8 to 12 weeks to really notice it and feel empowered by it, in my experience. So give it time. The 8 to 12 is really where I would want to set your mindset at to really feel like you're doing great. But yes, you're doing awesome. Keep it going. I know we all want that quick fix, but we're doing the healthy way for life. So with that, I don't want to take up any more of your time. You guys are doing great. Like I said, I'm so, so proud of you. I don't think I see any other questions pop up, but if I missed anything or you thought of anything else you wanted to ask, just shoot me up on the Facebook group or in an email. I'm happy to help each and every one of you. Keep up the great work, and I will see you on the Facebook page. Have a good night, everybody.